Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Meet the Horses. So today's video, this horse she is anxious. She wants to go. She is like, let me move, and I'll explain in a little bit. But this is one of my absolute favorite lesson horses. This horse, I believe, is the ideal lesson horse, and I'm so happy to have her in my program, and I can't wait to share her with you. Okay, here we go. She is going to take off and totally make a liar out of me. Oh, Annabelle was so antsy when I brought her out here. I'm like, she is just going to run the second that this halter's off. But leave it to a horse to 100% of the time make a liar out of you. So this is Annabelle, and Annabelle is actually on stall rest right now. And when I brought her in, I forget what day it was, but it was a day last week. Annabelle was brought in on Saturday. Annabelle was brought into a stall on Saturday, and she has been on stall rest ever since. And here's why. Her left front leg, she was super, super lame on it. She had a hard time putting her toe down. Now, she's still off, but as you can see, she's still off. I'm pretty sure she's got an abscess. I did find a hole in the sole of her hoof, so I'm pretty sure it's an abscess. But here's the thing. This horse has been stuck in a stall since Saturday. She is used to 24/7 turnout, plus she gets used for lessons. So this is a busy gal. She likes to have a job and stuff to do. And dang it, if I don't let this horse run around, that's not good for her brain. So she knows her limitations, and I'm going to bring her in and let her roll and let her move around. But you can see she is lame. Annabelle is one that, gosh, she's only been lame a couple times in her life that I recall. Jeez. And this is, like I said, she is one of my favorite lesson horses. In my opinion, she is the ideal lesson horse. This horse is quiet as they come, to the point of being complicated, because like, if a rider doesn't know how to get her to go, she's like, okay, I'm just gonna do my thing. But that's good, because once riders get a little bit of experience, then they can get Annabelle. Hi, honey. Look at her little polka dots. Aren't those cute? Once a rider has some experience, they can get her to do all kinds of stuff. Annabelle is pretty fancy. She knows a lot. She's been in my program since 2012, and I believe she was born in 2008. So however old that makes her this year, which is just crazy that it's been that long. But so Annabelle is about, she's like 14 hands. So some people say she's a pony. Sure, she's a pony. To me, I don't care. I call her a horse, I call her a pony, I call her whatever. But there's different rules with different organizations and different ways that people are brought up. It just all depends on where you ride, who you ride with, what kind of riding you do, that determines if a horse is a horse or a pony. Some people say that anything under 14.2 is considered a pony. Well, you just named like most Arabians and a lot of quarter horses right there. So there's a lot of 14 one-hand Arabs and quarter horses, and it is what it is. So I don't want to get into the pony/horse debate, what they are. So if I call her a horse, cool. If I call her a pony, cool. And same goes for you. Okay, so the story behind Annabelle. Let's see, I was pregnant. So this was 2012. And I was getting very close to being due. And my childhood horse, whose name is Poco was very sick. Okay, so, and I had a very, very old dog that, from my childhood, she was almost 18. So, Annabelle, why don't you get out of the corner, honey? So, I had a lot going on. So a friend of mine calls me and she says, look, Brandi, I've got this horse. She owns a boarding facility, this gal. She says, I have this horse. You're going to love her. and she'd be perfect in your program. And here's what happened. She said a gal brought her from Texas, all the way from Texas to Michigan, and paid for some boarding in advance, something like 6 months. And she never saw the gal again. So Annabelle had been just hanging out at this barn, and she was about 4 at the time. And nobody was doing anything with her, and she's too nice of a horse, she said, to just be sitting and doing nothing. And she gave the gal plenty of time to come and get her, and she couldn't get a hold of her. And yeah, it was the weirdest situation. So she's like, Brandi, I can't just have this horse sitting here. So she says she'd be perfect for your program. And I told her, I said, well, I'm pregnant. My childhood horse is super sick. I got a lot of things happening right now. And she said, okay, well, just let me know if you change your mind. So after my daughter was born, she called me again and says, hey, I still got that horse if you're interested. So I was like, well, all right, I'll come and take a look at her. So at least I wasn't pregnant anymore. So my mom and I took the baby, the horse trailer, loaded up, and we went over to visit Annabelle. We went to meet her. And I walked out to see her in the field, and I just took a look at her. I'm like, yep, she's cute as can be. She's probably, I would say, well, I mean, she's got to be a paint cross of some sort, but I would guess she's probably just a small quarter horse paint cross, something like that. That would be my guess. I don't think that she's crossed with anything pony. I think she's probably just little. But I could be wrong. There's no way of knowing unless you actually find out where they're from and all that good stuff. So anyway, we go and look at this horse, and I'm like, yeah, she's cute as can be. She's a perfect size for a variety of riders. So that's great, because I like them a little smaller for kids. I think it's just safer. And then, yeah, I mean, I didn't ride her or do anything like that. I just loaded her up in the trailer and took her home. So, but now price-wise, so I asked her, I said, well, what do you want for her? And she says, well, I've got about $200 into her between all of her shots and teeth and whatever else. She's like, so I'll take $200 for her. So I got this nice little horse who came all the way from Texas, traveled all the way up. Nice little horse for $200. I mean, sure, she's got, you know, she paddles a little bit with the front. Her conformation's not perfect, but dang, if you want to talk about a horse that is handy, she is handy. I absolutely love riding her. If I were going to take a horse out and just go bushwhacking for a week, okay? So off somewhere by myself. Hi, honey. Off somewhere by myself where I wanted a horse that was going to be trustworthy, keep me out of trouble, safe, fun to ride, brave, all that good stuff. Do you want to put that back on? I would take Annabelle. She would be my first choice. If I was going to go, say somebody called and said, hey, all the cows are loose. Can you come help? Annabelle's the horse that I would grab, because Annabelle's not afraid of a dang thing. She has worked with cattle just a smidgen. We used to do some team penning stuff. And she just is a super fun little horse. So, but now I gotta say this about her. If someone said, hey, which horse would you take to the Grand Canyon? It would not be Annabelle. And here's why. I feel like Annabelle's self-preservation is a little off. And I feel like she's almost too trusting, and she takes things very literally. So if you ask her to do something, she's going to do it. And so if you accidentally tell her to take a wrong step, she's going to do it, and you're gonna die. So she would not be my choice for going somewhere that was dangerous, such as the Grand Canyon, because I would be worried about her and I tumbling over the cliff. So, I mean, just in all honesty, Sally the mule would be my choice, because Sally is not going to do anything to allow me to, or to allow herself to die. So therefore, I would be safer. Annabelle, however, she just doesn't really have that. So And now, like I've said in all these videos, I do not clean up these horses to show you guys. I mean, this is strictly me just pulling them out of the pasture. In this case, Annabelle's been sitting in a stall. She's in heat too, so she's got, you know, her backside's pretty yucky right now. But, so you get what you get. So this is them living in their absolute natural state. This is how they look. And I think that is just fine. But so Annabelle came to live with me in 2012, and clearly I was very busy because I had a newborn baby. And so I put some rides on her just to make sure she was going to be safe. I think she came home with me. She's so friendly. She has so much personality. She's really just she's a great horse. People will ride her and be like, oh my gosh, she won't do anything. She's not listening and all this stuff. And then I put somebody on her who's a pretty advanced rider, and they're like, wow, she's really great. She's so sensitive and she knows all these things. And I don't know what she's doing with her tail right now. She's been rubbing it. She's been dewormed, but we've had some really wonky weather, and we've got some like itchy skin, that kind of stuff. So Annabelle came to live with me, I think it was like around September. I know it was like the end of summer, at least into fall. So I have a newborn baby and I've got this horse. I put a little time on her just to make sure she was safe. She didn't know anything. Oh my gosh. And she was so spoiled with treats. They gave her, the gals at the barn, they felt so bad for her because, you know, her owner just abandoned her. And so she got treats like crazy. Well, she was so pushy and it was a problem. So that was the very first thing that had to be dealt with her is absolutely no treats, because this horse is going to knock you over to get a treat because she's been totally spoiled. She wasn't trying to be rude, but she had zero manners because of that. So I'm not a big fan of treats. It's fine if they're given in a manner that is not going to create issues with the horse or the people who take care of them or handle them on a regular basis. Horses need to be safe. So that's my take on treats. But anyway, and then just basically the whole like being very unaware of her surroundings kind of deal. So like the other horses, she got pummeled pretty bad by the other horses for a while because she just didn't have spatial awareness, okay? So she would just kind of meander up into the lead horse's hay pile and think it's fine. And then that horse would look at her like, no, you shouldn't be here, pin her ears. And Annabelle would just be like, hey, how's it going? And so she'd get her butt kicked because she just didn't understand, hey, you should not be there. The lead horse just said that you should go and you're not responding. So, but she was also a horse too that with her groundwork, she was always stepping on people's feet. She needed a ton of groundwork. So after her groundwork got good, she actually got better in the pasture about getting out of everybody's way. So it just took time. It took her understanding. So I firmly believe that the work that you do with the horse can transfer over into the pasture. It gives them confidence. All those things, and Annabelle is absolute proof of that. So after I put some time on Annabelle, made sure she was safe, I handed her off to my more advanced students, and then she became a lesson horse. So, and she's been a favorite in my program for a long time. This is the horse that if we have a birthday party at the barn, she is so good. Nothing scares her. I mean, you saw the worst of it tonight, really. I mean, she gets little bursts of energy and she'll take off. She is very fast. There was one of my students that leased her for a while who took her to some shows, and this horse won Grand Champion Showmanship, which is an in-hand class if you're unfamiliar with it. And then she was like Grand Champion Speed Horse for the weekend. So, I mean, this horse does everything. She loves to jump. We can literally take her in anything and she's gonna be happy about it. Like, this horse has a great personality, a great attitude about everything. And, you know, when people talk about how they don't like mares and that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh, you have no idea. Because it just depends on the individual. This horse is so great. She she's just always pretty steady. I just have a really hard time finding anything wrong with her. I just like her so much. So, and she's quirky. She's got weird, like right there, she's like, oh, hairballs. You know, she's just funny. She's a cool horse. I love her a whole bunch. So she is definitely a permanent one in my program. And I adore her a whole bunch. But it's nice when you have a lesson horse that she reminds me a lot of my Poco that I had. And Poco was the horse that was very sick when I first got Annabelle. He was my childhood horse, absolutely like my heart horse. I can't talk about him much, okay? I mean, he died 12 years ago and I can't talk about him. But so Annabelle though has a lot of the same qualities that he had, as far as you can put a little kid on them and they are so quiet and good and just walk so gentle, and they just kind of know. And then you can put somebody advanced on that asks for more and they also know that. So that's what I love about her. But like I said, she can also be frustrating because somebody will get on her and be like, she won't move. She's not going to do things for someone. She absolutely won't do that. You have to ask her. You have to know what you're doing. And I think that makes a really great lesson horse, because you actually have to learn in order to get things accomplished with her. So she's very safe for beginners. I put tons and tons of beginners on her. And, you know, with that being said, beginners, they go on a lunge line or in the round pen, you know, that kind of stuff. But she's just a good girl. She's very sensible, and I can't say enough good things about her. And for $200, you know, she's worth every penny. So, again, with her being lame, now the farrier was supposed to be here today. I was going to have her trimmed, but she got sick, so she couldn't make it. So she's going to get a trim next Thursday, and I will keep a very close eye on her. She's made a ginormous improvement since Saturday, so I'm not too concerned. I feel like the stall rest and just keeping Arta Mud and keeping that hoof clean and keeping her in the arena when we can, so she can move around at her free will, is the best thing for her. Our weather has been so wonky. It really hasn't been winter at all. It's been like fall, and then it was suddenly spring, and then now it turned into, it's actually spring, but now winter showed up. And so these poor horses, they can't really catch a break. Kind of like us. None of us know what to do with it. So it doesn't surprise me to see a horse with an abscess right now, because you know, the ground went from being frozen to mud, and it's just like doesn't know what it wants to do. Annabelle does know how to lay down. That's been a fun thing to work on with her. On cue, so we can cue her to lay down. So that's fun. Everybody loves that. She does drive. I've done a lot of driving with her. She's super fun. She just does everything, and she does it with a smile, basically. So, I mean, if a horse were to have good work ethic, this horse has phenomenal work ethic. She just likes to do stuff. She's not a fan of being in a stall. She gets very antsy. She will make the hugest mess out of a stall. But then other times, she's fine. So, like when she's at an event for a few days, you know, she gets used to it. She's fine. I've hauled her all over for clinics. She's been to multiple different states to go to clinics and stuff. She gets impatient sometimes when she's tied. She'll get antsy, but that's just it's one of her little quirks, and it's okay. And we understand it and know how to work through it. And she knows that if she's quiet, that's when she gets put out. She's not getting put away until she's quiet. So she's figured out how things work. She's a very teachable horse. So one of Annabelle's funny quirks that she's just always done, that I have just come to the realization that is just her, is she likes to lick people. And when I say lick, I mean she'll walk up behind you when you're in the pasture and she'll just start licking the back of your jacket, or like licking your arm. She's licked my face. She just does that, and she's just quirky. She's just quirky. I've had all sorts of things tested, blood tests and stuff done to see if she's missing anything. And, she's always been or spot on with all of her levels, nothing like that. So I have just come to terms with the fact that she's just quirky. She just has funny things that she does. And that's okay. And actually, it makes her very unique, and I love that. So I'm all right with it. I don't make it a habit to allow horses to put their mouth on me, or to, like I said, she licks. That's not something that I would trust many horses to do. Why is it that they always got to go to wherever the most stuff is and get stuck? Like, why? So yeah, it's not something that I would allow a horse to do, to put their mouth on me. But with her, I know that that's what she's doing. I just know that she likes to lick, and if I don't want her to, I don't let her do it. But, if I'm standing there and she just licks my sleeve, no big deal. I just think it's funny. It's just who she is. So, and I'm okay with that. All right. Well, I think that's all I have to say about Annabelle. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. You shedding. Spring is coming. Eventually. It is officially spring already, but it's not.